Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I think I have all the systems working here. Welcome everyone to my webinar today, Quick Solutions for the Facebook Apocalypse. I've had to learn how to say that word lately. I really do appreciate you being here. I'm Anna Van Landingham. A couple of housekeeping things that I want to do is, first of all, in social media, we use the term organic reach a lot, and even people in social media don't totally understand what it means. So I wanted to put the definition up here to make sure, because throughout the presentation, I will be using that. And you can see here, basically, organic reach are those people that just come to your website or come to your Facebook page without you paying for an ad or anything. They just naturally do that because they like you. They believe in you. They think you have quality content. And of course, paid reach is when you do pay for those ads. So just to, make sure everybody understands what that is. Also, if you would hold your questions to the end, I will allow time for questions at the end because during the presentation, if I'm trying to watch questions and everything all at the same time, I get confused very easily. So I would appreciate that very, very much. And so right now, most of the social media world, this is what they look like. Some of you may even look like this. You may have seen your Facebook post not get much exposure. Some people's have declined by like 80% since Zuckerberg's announcement. And they've seen a big impact on it. And as a matter of fact, here are some of the comments from the social media world. I did a lot of research before doing this, and Mari Smith, in case you haven't heard of her, is like the big expert on Facebook. Everybody, she's the go-to person. And you can see here, I emphasize that Mari said businesses must invest in ads. And since the Zuckerberg made the announcement, that is what is being emphasized, is that you're going to have to invest in ads. And so, normally, Mari Smith is very positive about everything. So it was kind of interesting to read some of the things that she's written in talking about how you're going to see as far as your post being concerned and people reacting and so forth, decline if you're not paying for Facebook ads. Also, Michael Stelzner, who is the CEO of Social Media Examiner, and also he heads up the Social Media Marketing World Conference, which is the big one for social media people. And Michael's always just on the very forefront of everything. And whenever Zuckerberg came out with this announcement, he expressed concern. And that's not something that Michael does real often. And it's probably the first time I've heard him really say, hey, we're going to have to change things, and change things a lot, even with his own social media. And he said that with the changes that he about 6 months ago had said, with things that have been going on with the fake news and all the things that have been happening with Facebook, that Zuckerberg was going to have to do something to kind of rein it all back in. It's gotten so big, it has so many people on there, and there's so many things that have happened, and so Zuckerberg is wanting to get it back to a more of a relationship building type of platform, and that's going to hurt a lot of people. Another person that's a big name in social media, Mark Schaefer, he was very negative about this in his article, and he mainly was emphasizing that what he feels like Zuckerberg is finally doing is taking a look at relationships and people interacting with each other, rather than just making decisions and doing things to please his financial supporters. So I thought that was rather interesting that Mark Schaefer would say that. Now, so the first thing, of course, is the Facebook ads. And with the Facebook ads, I don't know if any of you have ever even looked at this page before, but this is the page where you go to construct your Facebook ads. And so I would ask you to raise your hand, but then I'd have to look over there and be all confused. But a lot of you probably, or if I asked you to raise your hand, would be like this. You would be like, Nope, I don't think so. Okay, I'm glad that Kate raised her hand over there because, and was very, thank you, Kate. I really do appreciate that because she let me know that I was sharing the wrong screen. I think I were looking at me and my husband with our dog. Uh, so I'm going to go back and just a little bit here. And here, let me do this. And just start with Michael here and not start from the beginning. I was kind of waiting to see if Kate could see. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I was waiting to see if she answered me because I wanted to make sure that, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I can't say thank you enough. As I was saying, Michael, the things that he said, that he really thinks what it's going to be, it's about relationship building. Now, and then I talked about Mark Schaefer and how he was really kind of negative. Now, with the Facebook ads, let's start there. And I apologize for that, but sometimes those things happen when you have multiple screens. With the Facebook ads, like I said, this is one of the things that's really being emphasized. And some of you, if I ask you to raise your hand to see if you've ever used the Facebook ads or ever even looked at this page, again, like what I was saying, you would look kind of bashful like this puppy dog here and say, not really, because I'm not talking about just clicking on the boost button. And that's what maybe some of you have done. You've clicked on that boost button and used that, but I'm talking about actually constructing an ad. And there's a trick to it. And you're going to have to learn how to do those if you're wanting to continue to use Facebook. And your marketing budget is probably going to increase. And Facebook ads are really not a bad thing if you're getting a return on your investment. And I can tell you, if you don't know what you're doing, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. And I can use myself as an example because back about a year or so ago, I was doing a telesummit and I ran my first Facebook ad. And I went back and checked like a day later, and I'd already spent $200 with no results. And basically, it was all because I didn't know what I was doing. Had nothing to do with whether Facebook ads work or not. So, I use that as an example to say that if you're going to do this and you're going to use Facebook ads, then you need to get with someone and let them teach you how to do it and how to do it correctly. And of course, since the pages are now getting less organic reach than the ad space, there may be an increase in demand there. So of course, what that might do is make the Facebook ads, the cost of the Facebook ads go up. So I know what you're doing is you're sitting there thinking, oh, you're talking dollars, dollars, dollars. And yeah, I agree. And what, as a matter of fact, when I was doing my research for this webinar, there was one person that was in his article, he included this graph, and I got tickled because as a former economist, I had a real problem with the graph because it's incorrect. He should have stuck to his day job because the supply curve is not going to shift. And I won't bore you with a bunch of economics here, okay? But the only thing that affects that supply curve is cost of production. And right now, at this given point in time, nothing is affecting the cost of production for Facebook. So it's all going to be on the demand side. So this is what his graphs really should have looked like. And I put these up here to say that you see the top one here that's labeled C. If people react to the Facebook announcement and say, okay, I'm tired of this, I'm out of here, I'm going to use something else, I'm going to do something different, then the demand will decrease. And if the demand does shift to the left here, then what's going to happen is the price of the ads will go down. And so I have to say this, when the demand shifts to the left, it moves along that supply curve, but it does not shift that supply curve. So we say move along the curve so that you can have a lower price. Now, let me go back. I got too carried away with my economics there. And then in the bottom graph here, you can see you know, people may say, hey, Facebook has been good to me. It's a great platform. I've enjoyed it. I get good results. And so in that scenario, the demand is going to increase and the price of the ads is going to increase. Now, which one's going to happen? No one knows. Not even Michael Stelzner really knows. And he is pretty much the person that people look to. But it's, we're still a wait and see kind of thing to see really what's going to happen there. Are people going to stay with Facebook? Are people going to use other platforms? I can tell you in his live stream that he did about the Zuckerberg's announcement that Michael Stelzner talked all about how once this came down that he had a meeting with his staff and they evaluated everything that they were using, and particularly on Facebook, and some of the things that they had been doing on Facebook they're phasing out because the ROI is just not there anymore. So that's something that you're really going to have to pay attention to. The most important or you read an article about it, you know that he emphasized in there that the new focus is going to be on conversations, and primarily conversations among friends. And when I say conversations, I'm talking about like these. This is the feed from Social Media Examiner on the day that Michael Stelzner was talking about the changes in Facebook. And you can see here, it was long comments. Okay. So it can't be a one word comment. It's got to be, a true conversational kind of comment. Also, interaction among the people. Not just, Sally Sue making a comment and Billy Bob making a comment, and then they're not interacting with each other. Because remember, these bots now can almost think like a human brain. So they, have in their algorithm now, they have ways of detecting and knowing if there's really that interaction going on. And you can also see there that I don't think in this one you can particularly see it, but Social Media Examiner was right on top of answering any questions and responding to the comments that people were making. That means you're going to need to be paying attention to your Facebook page a lot, because it can't be no more automation. Uh, they said in the briefing that automation will count against you, and a lot of us depend on that, especially people say like me who, you're a solopreneur. You have to depend on automation, but that's going to be a penalty against you. They're looking for, like I said, quality conversation, and also with the videos that it's live streamed. And so those are some of the things that you need to think about. It's got to be meaningful interaction between friends. And, be honest with yourself. How often have you really done this, had this conversations? And it's hard. I have looked at some of the big dogs, and they don't have that much conversation on theirs, because I've been trying to check out things and everything, so to see and so forth. And the other part that in a couple of the articles that I read, that they emphasized, gone are the days where you can just automate 30 posts for a day and that gets you somewhere. That's, if you do that, it's going to hurt you. Social Media Examiner is only said that they're only going to do like 2 Facebook posts a day, and that's because they want to be able to react and do the things that you need to do to be able to get Facebook to work for you. Now, as a local business owner, if you're a local business owner, this might work well for you. I have a good friend that lives in my hometown, in a small town in Mississippi. And you know what? There's a lot of interaction on her Facebook page because it's a small little Mississippi town. People look at her Facebook page, people react, people, there's a conversation going on. So in that scenario, it might work well for you. But what we're talking about here, and I don't know if you've ever looked at this, but on your Facebook page, your business page, you can put people that you want to watch, pages to watch. And this is from my page. And you can see the first company here that I have pages to watch has 6.4 thousand likes. And then the second person, 4.6 likes. And then you have little on me with 917. So, just looking at that, and, I hear this kind of thing all the time. Oh, they have, thousands of followers and so forth. You think, oh, well, that number one and number two company there, they are doing a lot better than you. Well, that may have been true in the past. Okay. But now they're going to be looking at engagement, and look at the engagement for those pages. And then look at the engagement for my page here. So with the announcement, and if things wash out like they say they're going to, that means that my page has a better chance because of the fact that I have this engagement. So what companies are going to need to do is you're going to be need to be doing a lot more storytelling with videos and good quality content. Think of the History Channel or the Discovery Channel and how they do the storytelling. That is more the kind of thing that you're needing to do. And episodes. That's the reason why with my Facebook Live, I've tried to develop a format where on Tuesday, I give you an overview of my blog that I have for that week. And then on Thursdays, I demonstrate it. I do use a screen share, and I share the right screen, by the way. And so that, it's more like an episode type of thing. And you're going to need to review your Facebook statistics and take a look at what is resonating with your followers, because it will give you good insight if you look at those statistics and the types of posts that are getting getting some interaction. Then that gives you a clue as to what will work well, and you need to do more of those. Marketing right there, taking a look at what's working and using that and doing away with what is not working. And also, you're going to make sure that you are following up and trying to create content that is viral worthy. And creating something that's viral worthy takes a lot of work. And there's a lot of pre-planning and a lot of thinking through and discussing to come up with that. So that's, those are the things that you're going to have to think about as far as your content is concerned. The next thing is Facebook Live. Now, I know that a lot of you out there are thinking, I will never do Facebook Live. I do interviewing of business owners on Wednesday, and I have the most problem with people saying, no, I don't want to get on video. Well, to use Facebook as a marketing tool, you need to do Facebook Live. I've really known this for about a year. That's why I started doing Facebook Live. I took a seminar about a year ago now, almost exactly a year ago, the Facebook Live Academy with Jessica Brace. And the one thing that Jessica told us that really stuck with me was that Facebook has like a ranking system of 1 to 10. And if it's just somebody liking, your page, then maybe you get a 1. But if you do a Facebook Live, you get a 10 plus, because that is the direction that Facebook is wanting to go. And of course, there's people out there saying, well, they say they want you to do Facebook Live, but then they're saying that video is going to hurt you. Well, the point is that it needs to be live streamed. If you're uploading other videos, they're not going to help you as much. Facebook is wanting it to be live streaming on there. And that's where they're wanting to gear their efforts towards. And so it's very crucial for your brand's presence on social media that you do this Facebook Live. And there is a lot of value in doing the live shows. You can create conversations with it. And that was one of the things that Jessica really emphasized to us, is try to create conversations. And, for me, I haven't done a very good job of that with my Facebook Live, mainly because, as I told you at the beginning of this, I'm easily distracted and I get all off course. So I haven't really done that as well as I should have. But Jessica gave us a whole outline of, that we should follow, of things that we should make sure that we should do. And so that's what you're going to need to do to be able to utilize this as a tool that's going to help you with Facebook. And also, you need to create a consistent schedule, which is another thing that was emphasized to us, and do regular Facebook Live shows. That's why I established Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Some people do it every day. I felt like as a solopreneur that that wasn't really feasible for me. So I just set up those days and I set up the times for those so that people would know that's when I'm doing a Facebook Live. And as I said before, on Wednesdays, I try to interview business owners. And maybe some of you would like to be interviewed. And if you would, hey, let me know. I would love to have you on there. But you definitely are going to need to do that. And it can't be you rambling on and on. And I know some of the people that I follow on Facebook, they'll get on there and ramble on and on. And one person, you know, they were talking about their tough day at work, and I'm thinking, that's not going to get you anywhere. It has got to be an organized presentation. It could even be a question and answer session, you know. And I've seen people get on there and say, okay, today I'm opening it up for you to ask me any questions about Facebook. And so, you know, there's interaction there. You can do the weekly tips like I do, and also the how-to segments, people like that. Now, every once in a while, do some spontaneous Facebook Lives. Like if you're traveling to a webinar, not traveling to a webinar, right? Traveling to a seminar or something, do a Facebook Live and feature it. I missed a golden opportunity Tuesday because I went to a HubSpot seminar. And after I left, I thought, well, duh, why didn't you do a Facebook Live there? That was really a great opportunity. But we have to keep reminding ourselves of these things because, you know, it will help us if we're wanting to use this as a platform. And they're going to favor those live videos over any uploaded videos. This is why when I mess up and don't go to my company page, I broadcast my Facebook Live on my personal page, I get so upset because I know it's not going to help me as much. But so that's something to think about. But, you know, remember, make it interesting. It needs to add value. And so then it will help you. Now, something that some of the people out there mentioned in the articles that I read was Facebook groups. And they were talking about the fact that with the Facebook groups, you could develop your own little niche market, so to speak, and in there you could do the upselling and, you know, all these kinds of things. Michael Stelzner doesn't agree with that, and I agree with him. And the reason for that is because from my observation of Facebook groups, a lot of the Facebook groups, what all people want to do is advertise. They're really not there to get information. And that's with my Facebook group. Originally, when I started it 4 or 5 years ago, I had it open and I closed it, and you have to ask to join now simply because I was constantly fighting that people putting ads in there, people, you know, putting all kinds of advertisements in there. And I didn't want it to be that type of group. And I see this happening to other groups to where that's what it becomes, just a bunch of spam really in the group. And then the other thing is it's very difficult to get people to carry on a conversation in the groups. There's a few groups out there that people do interact with each other, and that's great if you can do that with your niche. But I've done things like, you know, have certain days of the week that I feature certain things. I have emailed people that are in the group asking them to be interviewed, asking them to let me feature their blog. I've done a lot of things to try to get more interaction in there, and it has not been easy. The other thing is that, you know, I started evaluating exactly who is in my group. And when I started doing that, even though I have over 1,000 people in my Facebook group, uh, I got to looking at who's in there, and I'll tell you, it's not a lot of quality leads. And that's not a slam on the people that are in my group. But again, it goes back to that thing that there are a lot of people in these Facebook groups that are simply wanting to advertise. I had someone to say they were going to report me to Facebook because I wouldn't let them advertise. I'm like, go ahead, like you can never get in touch with them anyway. So, but that is something to consider. But Michael Stelzner says that diversification is going to be the key. Now is the time that you're going to have to diversify and start looking at other social media platforms. Really, how is this announcement going to impact Facebook? We don't really know for sure. And they're gradually rolling it out. And one of the things that I want to emphasize is that Zuckerberg said that this is a policy that they're going to use across all Facebook platforms. Now, to me, does that mean that they're going to also put this into place with Instagram? Because, they own Instagram, and with their chat, some of those other things that they have developed. Again, it's a wait and see kind of thing. So what we have right now is a bunch of business owners that are over here in this big fishbowl called Facebook. And they're deciding if they're going to jump out of this big fishbowl over here, Facebook, because let's face it, they have a lot of members, over into some other platform that's maybe doesn't have as many members as Facebook, or are they going to stick with the big fishbowl? And probably by the end of the year, we'll kind of know how this is going to wash out. But, who knows at this point in time. And of course, I'm the Pinterest Pro, so I have to mention Pinterest is one of those platforms. And I'm not saying this just because I'm the Pinterest Pro, but I will tell you, I have seen more interest in Pinterest over the past month, and I truly believe it's because of this announcement. And I've even read a couple of articles where it's talking about where business owners are, looking at this and, considering Pinterest now that Facebook has made this announcement. Now, hold on. Don't all of you go sign off on me just because I mentioned Pinterest. I know if I could see you right now, I know that look. It's like a thing goes over. Like, not doing that crap. I don't understand it. It's just a bunch of women. Well, hold on a minute. Let me show you some things, because what I have found is that when I show some people I can't say statistics today for some reason, some statistics, some actual real life statistics from some of the accounts that I manage, they look at me and go, wow. So first of all, this is my client in Hong Kong who sells bikinis. There's the good and the bad of this, because when I look at all these girls in the bikinis, it kind of depresses me. But if you'll take a look, this is one of their promotions for 10 days. And here, this is for their total conversion value. And you'll notice I took snippets out of analytics just to kind of give you an idea. And what this is showing you here is what the conversion value was for each one of these different cities in the United States. So you can see for bikinis that, they were getting sales. And you think, well, I'm not selling bikinis. Well, that's true, but you may be selling a product or a service. Another thing that I like is that it also, if you do a promoted pin, which is like a Facebook ad, but cheaper, you can get the targeted value of each of where they put those promoted pins. And so you can see here that with category feed and interest feed, it didn't really do anything, okay? Where most of the value came from was really search and then related pins in the home feed. And this search is why anytime I work with anyone as far as Pinterest is concerned, or I speak about Pinterest, I say, you have to find your Pinterest keywords. I'm not talking about just keywords. I'm really talking about your Pinterest keywords. You have to do your research on that. And that's what I do whenever I start managing an account. The first thing I do is I look for those keywords. Now, to show you the difference between these different feeds, I thought I would, because some of you don't have a clue about Pinterest, and that's not a slam, but just to show you, when we're talking about the home feed, we're talking about this right here. And these are pins of people that I'm following, maybe a few promoted pins, a few picked for you pins in that feed, okay? And if we're talking about interest feed, then we're talking about, you know, when you first sign up for Pinterest, you have to choose 4 or 5 areas of interest. And see, these are the areas of interest I chose. So these are suggested pins to me in that interest feed, okay? And then for the category feed, it's these categories. If I clicked on one of those, and then of course, here are the other ones. So for example, if I clicked on travel, then that is the category travel, and I would see pins that are related to travel, okay? So what those, and then one other thing, just real quick, talking about the search. If you type in a word up here, for example, I'm going to type in cars because that's what I'm interested in. I'm trying to find something about cars. This is the search feed. And this is where you saw from that graph that most people are found. And this is, again, why using those keywords, it's just like Google. You know, it's the search engine. And so as you can see from this graph here, that, get that back up there, that's really where they're getting most of their traffic to their website and their sales. Excuse me. Another client of mine that's in Minnesota, I have been with them for a few years, and so I wanted to kind of make a comparison. The blue line is in 2016, before I took over the account. The green line is 2018, and this is for the month of February. And what this is representing here is the number of clicks to their website, you know, people that actually clicked and went to their website. And you can see here, it's up and down. That's true. That's going to be true most of the time. Now, also, I will tell you that here, they were doing promoted pins because at the beginning, it is important to do that so that you get the followers, you get people aware that you're on there and so forth. But now, they do not do any promoted pins and they still get the traffic. And these are saves. And I always tell people, you know, it's when somebody saves your pin to their board. So think about it as though someone took a flyer that you were handing out and they took it with them to save it to so that they could refer to it later and have all the information, or your business card. And so that's what saves represent. And again, you can see the blue line is 2016 and this green line is 2018. And so they are getting the traffic to their website. And that's what I always tell people. My job is to get them to the website. Your job is to sell them at the website. And so you have to have a Pinterest ready website. And these are some Google Analytics. And keep in mind that these analytics are before the Facebook announcement has really taken effect. And you can see here in 2016, here is Pinterest. Now, what this is representing is visits to their website, and this isn't Pinterest Analytics, this is Google Analytics. And then over here, this is 2018, and this covers a time period of 1 month, okay? You can see this is February 2016, and this is March of 2018, okay? And so just to, you know, give you an idea, does Pinterest work? Yeah, it does. And, you know, a lot of people think that it doesn't, but, and I can tell you, I have managed accounts from bikinis to tech companies to engagement rings, and it works if you do it correctly. And so one other thing real quick is this is the percentage change of from 2016 to 2018 as far as visits to their website. And you can see here is Pinterest, Facebook, and then Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And the reason that those are flat is because they had 0 at the beginning. And like with Instagram, with Instagram, it was 0 at the beginning because of the fact that Instagram did not exist. But then in 2018, they had 88. And so, you know, when you divide a number by 0, I won't get all into the math, but that's the reason for that there. And so you have to decide, you know, what are you going to use as a marketing tool? And just like any marketing, it's going to, you know, take some time and effort to build. Are you going to stick with Facebook and begin to use the ads and the developing the conversations and doing Facebook Live? Or will you give Pinterest a try, or some other platform for that matter? But if you're going to, you know, use Facebook, you're going to have to curate and create quality content. You're going to have to increase conversations with followers, and you're going to have to reduce your automation and do Facebook Lives and use paid ads. Those are a must. And if you stop and you think about this a minute, what this is saying is that you're going to have to be on Facebook, really interacting and really thinking about what you're doing. You can't just put some things up there and hope that it works. So, you know, and I can't emphasize that enough, because if you're going to use Facebook, I want you to do a good job and I want you to be successful. But if you decide to give Pinterest a try, remember you need quality images. You need to be consistent. Consistency, I emphasize that all the time. I'm talking pinning every day, keywords, keywords, keywords. When people ask me what are 3 tips you would give me about Pinterest, I say keywords, 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 because it is so true. And you need to build a following by using, you know, your email blast, using your other social media and so forth. And you need to be in it for the long term. Because with Pinterest, I always say that Pinterest is the turtle and the other social medias are the hare, because Pinterest, it takes a little while for it to get going. So you have to realize that things have to really be put into place in order for you to be successful. And so you have to make the decision of the time and money. I always get back to that. Is it time or money? You know, which one are you going to be willing to do to be able to use Facebook or Pinterest? If you decide that you would like to use Pinterest today, because you're here and you listen to me for this time, what I'm offering is my Pinterest account management, which includes all these things. And I'm going to send you a brief email afterwards with this information so that you will have it, because I know it's kind of hard to read all this stuff, and I don't like PowerPoints with a bunch of words anyway. But I do the Pinterest account management where I do everything for you. And normally I get $1,500 a month for that. And people go, wow, that's a lot of money. Well, I am pinning and repinning every day for you. I'm creating images for you. I'm finding followers. I'm doing everything possible to get traffic to your website. But today, because you signed up and you came to my webinar, I'm offering you a special price of $750. And that's for today only. And you have to have a 6-month contract. And I've had people say, why a 6-month contract? And the reason is because I want to know that you're in it for the long term. You're willing to commit to that to really build a successful Pinterest account. I'm not the kind of person that I just want to take your money and run. I want it to be successful. And so if you're interested in this, you can go to PayPal directly and just input my email address and sign up that way. And then you'll get an email with all the instructions. Or you can go to this page here with the URL. And again, I will send you an email with the URL in there. And this is the password. And because I know some people have trouble with PayPal. If you don't use it regularly like I do, then it's confusing to me sometimes. So I created this page so that you can just go there and click a button and so forth. And then, as I said, you'll get the email confirmation. And with the email confirmation, then you'll get all the instructions of how to set up an appointment with me, and also, information that I need before our first strategy session that we have. And, along with that, please, I can't emphasize enough, I offer free 30-minute demonstrations to people. I am not a high pressure person. It's just not in my personality. If you would like to just see, well, how Pinterest would work with your company, set up an appointment with me and let's talk. And, people always are amazed when I do those 30-minute sessions that I'm not constantly trying to sell them something. Like, I just want you to see whether it will work or not for your company. So that's something to think about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the chat and pay attention to it. And let's see. First one, Regina, I like your comment, family, friends, and pets. I agree, because you do know that the top 3 things for marketing are pets, sex, and babies. So that's why if you pay attention to any like commercials on TV or anything like that, people use those. I've noticed that even in TV shows, they've started including a pet, and all. How many followers should one have to make it worthwhile to do Facebook Live? I say start now. It really doesn't matter. Try to build your following, but if you have over 100, do Facebook Live, because it really will help you. And the thing is that, again, like I said, develop a schedule at the beginning. And I'll tell you what Jessica told us. At the beginning, when you're doing the Facebook Live, get your family, friends, and pets, if they can, Regina, to go on there and to comment and so forth, and so that it gets you gives more value to it to help get you started with it. And you know how you can click on there and you can hit the little hearts or the other things. And this is what I learned in the Facebook Live Academy, is that you can, if you get those hearts and all, you get like 2 or 3 points in that 1 to 10 scale. And so people can do that, but if they do comments, it's going to have more value. And remember what I emphasized about the fact that it needs to be comments that are, long. It can't just be like 1-word comments. And one of the ways to get that conversation going is when somebody does make a comment on your Facebook Live, then ask them a question. If they say, I really enjoyed your webinar today, reply to them and say, what was your favorite point that I made today? Or, something like that. Come back with a question, because that will get more of that interaction going on for you there and all. So that's, stop and you think about that. Okay, I have one other question here, and they're asking about Pinterest. How does it go to your website? Well, every image on Pinterest, I say it's like a call to action, because every one of those images you put on Pinterest is a clickable link to your website. And so any image I put up there, I want to make sure that it has the correct URL and that it takes them exactly to where that image is, where they can get more information. So if I have, a bikini up there, then I want to send them directly to the page where they can buy that bikini, not to the home page, directly to the place where they can purchase that item. Okay. Any other questions that you have out there? I don't see any more. As I said to you, I will be sending you an email with this information on there. And I really appreciate all of you being here today. And I did record this, and I will send out the link, because I'm only sending out the link to the people that actually registered for the webinar. So keep that in mind. And I hope all of you have a very Pinteresting kind of day, and try to catch me on my Facebook Lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm there at 7 p.m. and then at Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Uh, so, you know, thank you very much for everything. And I'm going to stop my share now, and I'm going to end this. And one other thing, real quick, if you have a question that I didn't answer, you can email me too, because I don't mind that at all. Okay. So make sure that you do that. Thank you so much.